This is the problem with bodybuilding, right? Once you get motivated to go to the gym, for people like myself, it was as soon as I went and trained once, and others, it might take months and years, and when you finally see a good bit of progress, boom, you're hooked. The problem is, right, as men, when we get that high burst of motivation, we'll sort of obsess over it and go all in, be researching it, looking at all the best splits, the best bulks, the best this, the best that. And we'll be wanting to go all the time whilst that motivation is high. And unlike a lot of other sort of endeavours, let's say business or sports, let's just take paddle, for example. I started playing that. You will get better at paddle the more you play it. So you could play it. I've heard of people playing it 6 hours a day. I know somebody who went out to a paddle intensive sort of training regime and they were playing it all day long. Now, you can't do that with bodybuilding. More is not better. It's a shame, really, because I'd love to train all day long like Rich Piana. But bodybuilding, less is more. And this is factual now. You could go do full body 3 times a week, and that's the science shows that is clearly, by a small margin, that is clearly the best way to go. And you could do that in 45 minutes. Now, if you're obsessed with bodybuilding, that's actually so hard to go, right, all I'm thinking about is going gym and getting big and strong, and I can only go 45 minutes 3 times a week. When most guys, when they get obsessed with bodybuilding, they go 2 hours a day every single day. They take the pre-workout, you know what I mean? And when it comes to nutrition, it's even worse. Because you're like, right, I've done my training, I'm at home now, I really want to get big, I really want to get strong. What can I do in my spare time to facilitate my goal? Oh, I've got to eat more to grow. And I did this. I would go home and I would just keep eating. I'd get bored, think about the thing I'm interested in, which is bodybuilding, go, right, I need to eat more to grow. So then I'd keep eating. And it's crucial for you to realise that when it comes to bodybuilding, you want to do the opposite. You want to eat just enough to facilitate growth. It's like a bucket. Once you fill it, you keep pouring water in there, it's just going to spill over. And that metaphor in reality is you're just going to gain fat, yeah? So the best thing to do with bodybuilding is actually not get obsessed. Get the program and get a meal plan that has you eating just enough to grow, and that the training program's stimulating the perfect amount to get you growing, but without building up any kind of fatigue that may slow down gains or make you feel crap outside of the gym. And then you literally need to switch your mind off and focus on something else. Because the more you focus on bodybuilding, I promise you now, the worse it is, because hyperfixating on bodybuilding leads to just a few things. Overtraining, overeating, overdoing the gear, or you just sit there watching people on YouTube talking about it, which is wasting time if you're a man. If you're a man and you want to improve your physique, probably for yourself, for enjoyment, for girls, for respect from men, it could be anything. But do what you need to do, which is a few workouts a week, maybe 4, maybe 5 at a push, maybe 6 if you want to do legs push pull, but with tiny volume. Then get a meal plan or a set amount of calories, which is enough to see you grow, and just trust the process, and then focus on other things. Get obsessed with something else. Maybe it's like cardio or jiu-jitsu or paddle, or ideally as a young man, it's going to be business. Because a big mistake of mine is I just focused on bodybuilding and chasing girls. I got into my late 20s and I was like, shit, what have I got to show? I've got a semi-okay physique, a few failed relationships. If I'd hyperfixated on something else like business or a career, or even I wanted to make a career out of bodybuilding, to be honest, and it's actually paying off quite well now. But, you know, there's so many other things that you could focus on, and it's going to have a much better return on your investment. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved obsessing over bodybuilding back in the day. It's such a shame that it's one of those sports where the more you do, the worse it is. But get obsessed with doing the optimal thing, which is, like I said, a few workouts a week, eating the right amount, and then in the meantime, do whatever you need to do. Apparently the top bodybuilders in the world, and I've seen it on their vlogs, they train, they have their meals set, and they just play PlayStation in between and relax. And they turn on that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, and that is it. So, long story short, bodybuilding's big problem is more is worse, and you need to find a way to do less, because less is more.